Okay.
So I grew up in the Spreewell Iverson era of braids. And so that was my side hustle in high school.
Okay.
I was the girl that was braiding hair before basketball games. I'm like, let me get that 20 because we got to eat after this basketball game. So I started braiding hair, eventually got into makeup. I have
Okay.
an aunt that is like my favorite aunt. She was in the
You're
clothes
not
and
supposed to have
fashion.
faith.
Everyone knows, it's an own thing. Shout out to Aunt Tammy. But she was like a great mentor to me. And so I got into cosmetology because I believe if you look good, you feel
Hmm.
good. Sometimes the things that we're dealing with internally, they're not as easy to fix as the external things. And so I started working, with women and men because I did a lot of braids and things. And I realized that if I could help people with their outward appearance, that it makes them feel good on the inside. So that's been my life work at whatever
Okay.
capacity, is helping people find themselves.
Welcome to the BRSTEM podcast. This is a place where we plug into community, amplify opportunity, and lay down the roots and wings our community needs for success. Today, we're talking about the power of safe and inspiring spaces. Spaces where young people don't just dream, but they have the opportunities to innovate and build for their future. For over 160 years, the Boys and Girls Club of America have been a national beacon for hope for our kids. They've been a powerhouse for youth development and a source for inspiration. Today, with over 5,500 clubs serving nearly 4 million youth worldwide, they are a literal lifeline to our children. In fact, over half of their high school seniors express a deep interest in STEM careers, nearly double the national average. And right here in our home state, the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Louisiana is doing something rarely seen across our country. The Boys and Girls Club is doing the heavy lifting on the ground. Named a statewide hero of youth, this incredible organization bridges the gap between the needs and where we seek to see our children go. By providing a clear connection between school and home for hundreds of local kids every single day, the Boys and Girls Club is driving academic success, leadership, and opportunity for children throughout the Baton Rouge community. Our guest today is right on the front lines of this life-changing work. She is a champion for youth development, a community visionary, and the phenomenal club director of the brand new Inspiration Center right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Please welcome my guest, Miss Mika Jones.
Hello.
So I'm glad to have you. What I would ask that you do, if you could just kind of tell us a little bit more about yourself and then kind of the work that you have been doing throughout your career and why it's so important to you.
Uh, Great question. So, I have been with Boys and Girls Club in Metro Louisiana. May will be 4 years.
Okay.
I started the movement by being a volunteer in the Greater Houston Boys and Girls Club organization, and then I was a lead and or supervisor at the club there. My career path here in Baton Rouge, I started as the teen director. Teens are my passion.
Okay.
I love, love, love working with teens. They're at that ripe age where you can help guide them in the places they need to go, but also they're old enough to develop that social and emotional awareness. So I love that piece of it. I currently serve as the psych director here at the Inspiration Center. So 6 through 18 are the babies that I work with. I'm predominantly with the littles more often now. But my initial career path, I started off in cosmetology. So I did hair and makeup was
Oh,
my first career path. And then I worked in corporate America for about 20 years. And I've always worked with youth at a church
okay.
capacity. Um, but I realized that working in corporate America, that sometimes the pay, if it doesn't compensate the passion, then you have to switch it up.
Okay. So let me go back to the cosmetology piece for a minute.
Yeah.
And I think that's really great because we have two of our BRSTEM fellows that are helping to produce today's episode. But one, Bree, is actually interested in cosmetology.
Okay.
And so talk to me about like why that was a passion and then what was it that kind of pushed you to transition? And that's not to say that you're still not doing it, but
Mhm.
what caused you to transition professionally?
So I my first career path in cosmetology, I'm a millennial,
Okay.
so I grew up in the Spreewell, Iverson era of braids. And so that was my side hustle in high school.
Okay.
I was the girl that was braiding hair before basketball games. I'm like, let me get that 20 because we got to eat after this basketball game. So I started braiding hair, eventually got into makeup. I have
Okay.
an aunt that is like my favorite aunt. She was in the
You're
clothes
not
and
supposed to have
fashion.
favorites.
Everyone knows, it's an own thing. Shout out to Aunt Tammy. But she was like a great mentor to me. And so I got into cosmetology because I was in I believe if you look good, you feel good.
Hmm.
Sometimes the things that we're dealing with internally, they're not as easy to fix as the external things. And so I started working, with women and men because I did a lot of braids and things. And I realized that if I could help people with their outward appearance, that it makes them feel good on the inside. So that's been my life work at whatever
Okay.
capacity is helping people find themselves and be
Okay.
confident in them.
Um, and then so how did you end up transitioning from that?
Um, Cosmetology can be hard work. As I got older, being able to take vacations and things because if as a hairstylist or a makeup artist, if you're not working, you don't eat.
Yeah.
And that was, I came up at a time where doing products and social media and those things weren't a factor. So those weren't revenue streams. So look, that favorite aunt, she worked at a large corporation in the telecommunication industry. I took the test, passed it, and started working there.
Okay.
I made amazing money, um, but ultimately decided it wasn't where I wanted to be. But I learned a lot and met a lot of amazing people.
Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes it's important um, for young people, whether it be teens or in college, to understand that that's okay. Like, so myself as well, like I've done a few different things. And so the world that we live in now is something that's naturally going to happen to a lot of us. And so I
Mhm.
think it's okay. Whereas our parents and grandparents, I mean, they may have worked at one job like
Yes.
their entire career. And it's just not the world that we live in anymore. So one of the other things I want to kind of talk through is you mentioned how teens were your passion. And I want to kind of talk to this just from a vantage point of our city. And so we're actually, and we'll talk about the facility we're in, but so we're on the Breck property, where last summer we had some challenges with the swimming pool. And so, we've had some conversations going on about that in the community. But just by and large, we've had some challenges here the last couple of years with young people and violence. And so I think my question is coming from two vantage points. One, and I know that you've been working with kids for quite a while and myself having both volunteered and with BRSTEM and working in schools. Um, if we're honest with ourselves, like a lot of people aren't comfortable with teenagers and some of the challenges that present themselves at times. And so, for you, talk more about why, like, that's your go-to when it comes to our young people.
I started working with teens because I saw myself as that teen that was looking for someone to hear me.
Okay.
My mom was an amazing mother, like, she was a chef, so like cooking and those things. Um, was always, like, things that she did, like, we never missed a meal or any of those. My dad, was a logger, he did train horses, and so, like, I was a country girl.
Okay. Where'd
Uh,
you grow up?
North Louisiana.
Okay.
So, yeah, I grew up riding horses and
Don't be saying no
four-wheelers.
regional stuff. I need the
It
town. I
was,
need the town.
Caldwell Parish.
See.
I was in Columbia. Um, and I recognize that sometimes your parents or even your family may not have everything that you need as a
Mhm.
teen to help you discover yourself. So again, I started working with teens in church when I was a teen, and I found myself in a space where I was like kind of mentoring and pouring into them because I think sometimes when it's the people that's most familiar with us, they can only see us
Yeah.
in one lens. So I think that when it comes to teens, them being able to talk to someone that doesn't have any preconceived notions of who they are or who they can be, that there's a lot of value in that. I think it takes a village. Because I mean, being honest, where we are as a society and our economic standards right now, it's expensive to live.
Yeah.
And so if a parent is struggling to pay the bills or even may not be struggling financially, but emotionally or socially, it can create challenge with their children. It's not made, from a malicious place, but sometimes how can I save you if I can't save
Yeah.
myself? But that's where the village comes in. So I think it is critical for teens and even adults to have that place that they can have an outreach to be able to get different perspectives and to be able to kinda grow and see what else is out there.
And so from a either from a personal perspective or, as an organizational perspective, um, and because again, what we hear a lot, and I'm sure our kids hear it a lot, is, you know, just the challenges that are going on. And I'm trying to like frame this in a positive light. And so how do you see us as a community being able to capture all of these hidden talents that we have in our community, bottle up this energy for, in a positive way, to really give our kids hope?
I'll talk about it from an organizational standpoint. At Boys and Girls Club in Metro Louisiana, I think the misconceived notion from a lot of families, or the public in general is that Boys and Girls Club only serves like littles, like
Hmm.
that 12 and under range. But our teens are like the heartbeat of our club. We have a substantial amount of teens that are here that have been with us since they were
Okay.
younger. We pride ourselves in following our youth throughout their school journey and keeping them engaged. Particularly right now, we have four teens that have been with us for a while that are in DC at our say conference, and they're going and talking to members of Congress about having financial literacy programs in the school systems, and in a more concise way to help them know what to do and how to manage their money once they graduate. But we do scholarship opportunities, and we're sitting, oh, excuse me, in this beautiful building. And so there's a lot of activities and things that the teens have access to here, but we also do homework assistance and all these other great things for them. Um, but I think if you put them in a position to where they have access to, um, what they may not see in their everyday lives, because you can't be something you can't see. So at Boys and Girls Club, it's our goal to provide access to youth to see beyond
Yeah.
the limited window or lens that they may currently be in.
Okay. So both personally and, from our organization standpoint with Baton Rouge STEM, um, my initial contact and collaboration with the Boys and Girls Club came from working at McKinley Elementary.
Mhm.
And I want to say the next year we started working at Winburn Elementary Boys and Girls Club, and have been able to build some really solid relationships with kids across the community. And so, am I correct in understanding that all of that's being consolidated here now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And so, what was that decision about, or what's the rationale behind that?
So by us being able to consolidate our clubs here at the Inspiration Center, we're able to provide um, greater access and direct
Okay.
resources to the youth. That's not to say that eventually we won't, expand back out, but at this particular time, I think that was
Okay.
a great decision for our families and for our kids. I know this summer we have a significant amount of our kids that was in the school system
And
that are in
existing
the
kid.
existing kids that are still members of Boys and Girls Club. Like our families become our families too.
Okay. So before we get into the center,
Mm.
so kind of share, because again, we've worked together at McKinley Elementary and Winburn Elementary, Melrose, this last school year too, at Melrose. Um, but talk about like the actual programming historically that has taken place over the last few years since you've been on board
Yes.
at the school sites.
Yes. So our core programs during after school, we run a program called Power Hour,
Okay.
that is homework assistance. It is also components of reading and math, reading literacy and math. We've with through that program, we have seen significant growth in our youth that are part of Boys and Girls Club in their academic reporting. Our students are, excel in those areas. So we take pride in being able to provide that support to them with homework assistance because again, a lot of parents work
Yeah.
outside of the home. And being honest, again, as a millennial, the way that things were taught when I was in school and the way they're taught now are day and night. It's a foreign language, right? So having, a significant part of our staff, they are college students or educators. So our members have direct access to those that know,
Okay.
how to do the homework and how to explain it to them. So we love that for them. Like some of our kids, particularly from McKinley, they've written and published two books through
Wait,
Boys
say
and
that
Girls
again.
Club members. They've written and published and sold two books.
Okay.
Shout out to those babies that even they illustrated their books and everything. Miss Bradley, who has been with us for some time, she's a educator over at McKinley Elementary, and she's here this summer with us. She helped those kids write books. We also do triple play, which is about teamwork. It's more of like the sports. So they do basketball. This summer they've been learning how to play volleyball. They're going to be doing cornhole. They've done kickball, which is hilarious that a lot of kids don't play outside no more or know the rules of kickball, but we teaching them. They've some of the other program we did like lyricism 101 with our teens where they're learning about poetry
Okay.
and musicality. We've done STEM, which is one of the heartbeats of our programming. So we're grateful to have you partner with them. We have some other amazing community partners that's done STEM programming with our kids. Overall, and we also have a program called Smart Moves, which is about social and emotional
Okay.
development. We have also programs called Passport to Manhood and Smart Girls that teaches the youth about their bodies and development and how to regulate their emotions and all these things. So I like to think of it that we provide the programs that help support them with the school system, but are also programs that's going to help develop and cultivate them for life after school. So we're truly a club for the youth.
And then I you didn't mention it, but I think another piece that I think is pretty cool is within all of that, like I've seen opportunities that the kids have had for exposure, like
Yes.
outside of the school
Career
setting or
readiness.
outside of the camp
Yes.
setting.
Mhm.
Um, I've seen a couple times that you guys have done things in partnership with like the Pelicans or the Saints.
Mhm.
And so I know when I was a kid, that like the first time I went to a professional football game was an Atlanta Falcons like preseason game when we were out on vacation.
Mhm.
And so I know that's not something that a lot of kids get exposure to, and so I think
Absolutely.
that that's pretty cool as well. Um, so let's talk about the facility itself. Um, so how did this come about? Because we talked about the transition here, but
Mhm.
how did this concept come about?
Um, from the limited lens of, up, right, that I am, privy to, I know that Boys and Girls Club in Baton Rouge has had a deep desire to have a
Yeah.
standalone facility for many years. From what I've heard from some of the parents in the community, there used to be a club here
Okay.
in this area that was near a fire station,
Okay.
so getting a standalone club again is has been exciting for some of the parents that may have grew up in Boys and Girls Club in this community. But we are the Law Enforcement Criminal Justice Foundation, is the owners of the facility,
Okay.
and Boys and Girls Club, we are the anchor tenant. So again, for summer, we do our program is 7:30 to 6 Monday through Friday. After school, we're open from 2 to 7 Monday through Friday. And then during the day, there's community partners that do adult
Mhm.
programming and have opportunities for adults to come and learn or get information about various things before the youth come into the building. Um, but I think that overall, the Inspiration Center has been put in this community to inspire not just the youth, but the families and the community as a whole to be able to see more. And that's what we're here for.
So, where like, what do you see as the possibilities with this? Because you said the anchor tenant, which leads me to believe that there is more that can be coming, or potentially more that's coming. And so, from your perspective, and having worked with this community kid for the last 4 years, like, what do you see as the potential for further opportunities and growth?
I do know that one of the large focus, and that's why even I talk about like the community partners that's coming in the day, is to be able to truly offer like wraparound services
Okay.
for the family as a whole. For those that aren't connected, I would definitely encourage you to go to the Law and Criminal Justice Foundation's website. All of the changes and growth opportunities in the facility are housed there. Also, any community partners, ourselves and others, are the links to our website is also there, is the hub for the facility.
Okay. And then, so as we prepare to go back to school,
Yes.
um, how would a family that's currently not a family become a part? And then, so I'm just gonna name a place. So if
Mhm,
my kid goes to school at Sharon Hills, which may not have previously been like a sponsored school site,
mhm.
how would they actually get here?
We being that we aren't in a
Hmm.
school-based site, any youth, as long as you're registered in school, is able to
Okay.
attend. There is a group of schools that we are partnering with that we will have
Okay.
transportation
All
to
right.
and from the club through EBR bus services. But anyone, as long as you can get here, get picked up by 7, we welcome you.
Okay.
You can go to bgcmetrolouisiana.org and click on Become a Member to join for after school programming. The registration is currently open and available.
And so those partner schools, so the buses will bring them from their school and take them back to their school sites, and parents will just pick them
No,
up.
they'll take them home.
They'll Oh,
Yes.
wow.
They
That's right,
bus.
'cause y'all did take them.
Yes,
Yeah, we're
we
taking them
take
home from
them
McKinley.
home.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Um, and so I think, like, that's I don't know how many parents do or do not know this, but I think, a lot of times what concerns me is the number of kids that we see in our community just, like, roaming the streets after school. And so, again, it's expensive to play sports. We talk about that. It's expensive to play sports. And so the need is there. And
Mhm,
so the fact that, because I know that a lot of times that can be a barrier, even if
mhm.
programs are free, is getting the kids to and from the program. You feed the kids?
We do. During the summer, we provide breakfast, lunch, and a snack.
Oh,
After school, we provide a snack for them once they get here too.
okay.
Mhm,
All right. Uh, so we're going to wrap up soon, but
mhm,
talk to me about like the different places in the facility. Because I know I saw a gaming room,
mhm,
I saw a gym, Like what all is actually going on in the building?
Yes, so our admin office is located here in the building. We also there's the youth side,
Okay.
so it's for that one side is for ages 6 through 12. On that side of the facility, there are 4 classrooms. One of those classrooms is a tech lab that is named after Devin Page Jr., who
Okay.
unfortunately was a 2-year-old that lost his life due to gun violence. We're honored that we're able to have youth in that space that's for him. And they can learn and grow in technology. We have laptops in that room that the youth use. Then we one of the classrooms is a literacy and learning lab. It's a library. It is powered by the Family Resource Group and EBR Public Library Systems. And then we have again the 2 additional classrooms. We also have a social recreation room, which there's a eyeball, which is really like a Nintendo Wii without the nunchucks being a option for those that may not know what Nintendo Wii is. And then there's the Xer game, which is all racing games, so you
Okay.
have to paddle the bike. But we're also going to be putting like a foosball table and an air hockey table in there, and again, that's for the 6 to 12-year-olds. Then we have our teen center that is for 13 to 18. In that particular space, there is esports gaming arena where they can do esports gaming individually or stream them and play them collectively as a group. We have, PlayStations, and there's 2 classrooms over on the teen side for them as well. A tech lab, and the tech lab on the teen side is named after Allie Rice.
Okay.
She was a LSU student, again, that unfortunately lost her life due to gun violence. But being able to have those 2 spaces for young people that lost their life, unfortunately, was cut short to turn that negative into a positive. We're grateful that we get to have our kids in those spaces. And then we also have a recording studio, podcast studio, which also has 2 recording studio bays, which we are sitting in currently. So um glad to be, and then of course the amazing gym that has hair.
So look, any of these spaces,
Mhm,
because I'm sure this is some people are curious about,
mhm.
are they open to the public or able to be accessed by the public for a fee?
They are not open to the
Okay.
public. If you are interested in getting information about the spaces, that's all handled through the Law Enforcement
Okay.
and Criminal Justice Foundation. But if you are partnering with Boys and Girls Club for programming, such as
Hmm.
yourself, then those conversations are done through us. But anything outside of that for the facility, we want to go to the
Okay.
Law Enforcement
All
and
right.
Criminal Justice Foundation website.
So there's a question that we always ask when we get ready to wrap up. And so the theme of the podcast is our children need roots and wings. So for you, uh, and so the roots are the foundation that we work to provide our children, and then the wings is their ability to be able to soar beyond what they or we could even imagine. And so when you think about that and the children and the families that you all serve, what comes to mind?
Hmm. The roots are the youth, because they're the ones that are planted that are getting ready to grow. The families are the soil because they're the first source of nutrients that are there to support the roots, and we are the water and
Why
the
you trying to preach? Why
sunshine.
you trying to preach?
We're the water and the sunshine. We're here to help nurture the soil and the roots and be able to show them that there's always light available. So
Okay.
that's us.
All right. Well, look, I appreciate having you on. We look forward to this coming school year. I know that our team has enjoyed definitely their time here this summer, but have also enjoyed all the work that we've been able to do in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. One of the things that I did forget to mention, but I do think is an epitome of what we need in working together to create something for our children. Um, when we were at McKinley Elementary, and I cannot remember her name
Miss
right now.
Shashika.
No,
No.
please don't do that to me.
Not Mrs. Chicken. Okay.
The teacher who was teacher of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so she did the school garden, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel so bad I cannot remember her name right now.
Okay.
But she did the school garden at McKinley Elementary, and then I came to her and I was like, we have a program. Would you like some chickens? And she was like all for it. And she went out, and it was great because like she had access to grant funding and things like that. She went out and bought these coops and things,
Mm-hmm.
and then the coops weren't good enough for her chickens.
Mm-hmm.
And so Boys and Girls Club worked with ExxonMobil to get
build
this
coops.
massive mansion built for these chickens. And I just think like that's an example in working together as a community, how we can bring things to kids that they don't necessarily experience. And we all may have different expertise or whatever. But by working together, we can really make a difference for our children.
We love the collaboration.
All right. So this has been another episode of the BRSTEM podcast, Our Children Need Roots and Wings. We look forward to more times like this and continue to work with Boys and Girls Club to continue to make a difference in our community. Thank you for joining us.